I'm Ian Curry, this is Chasing Cars, and behind me is the new 2023 Ford Ranger Raptor. And doesn't it look tough as all hell? Ford tells us it's going to be in our showrooms this July, but hasn't yet told us exactly how much it's going to cost. By the time you get to see this video, hopefully we will know that. So Ford has brought us here to Outback, South Australia, which is one of the places the Raptor has been developed. So hopefully they're going to let us do lots of jumps, skids, and other fun stuff as well. Now, the headline of this new car is what's under its vented bonnet. So one of the biggest criticisms of the old Raptor was it didn't really have the performance nor the speed to match the off-road abilities. So that's been solved by getting rid of the old 2-litre 4-cylinder turbo diesel, and in its place we now have a V6 twin-turbo 3-litre EcoBoost petrol. Yes, petrol. Now, Ford also hasn't told us exactly how much that is going to drink, but you can guarantee it's going to be quite a bit thirstier than what has gone before. We also know there is a new 10-speed auto gearbox in this. It has permanent 4-wheel drive and an incredibly hardcore off-road system, including 2.5-inch Fox Sports shocks, which we can't wait to test as we go on. So with the old diesel gone, that solves one of the biggest problems that the old Raptor has, which was not enough performance nor speed to match the off-road abilities. So that's been solved with the new Raptor. The new V6 offers almost 300 kilowatts and almost 600 Newton meters. So the old acceleration figure of the old Raptor, which was probably around 10 seconds to get to 100 kilometers an hour, we can guess that's going to be nearly cut in half, which is going to please a lot of the hardcore off-road enthusiasts. Okay, so this is the new hero color for the new Ranger Raptor. It's called Code Orange. Hardly subtle, but then nothing about a Raptor really should be. Okay, let's have a quick look around it, see what it's all offering, and see how hardcore it really is. So as you can see, they've made this even more muscular, even more fat looking. These guards are extended out, bigger wheel arches, nice satin trim for the sides here. The bumpers front and rear, they've all been changed as well. And underneath, we've got a tow hitch point. There's another one at the back as well, and also a 2.3mm steel bash plate. You'll notice the lights look much more modern now. LED matrix headlights up front, also LEDs for the fog lights and daytime running lights. And of course, it's the only Ranger to get the big FORD in-your-face trim in the grille. You'll also notice up the top, there are bonnet vents. That's not just there for decoration, that's to let some of the heat escape from that big twin-turbo V6 engine. And just around the side, you can see it's equally hardcore. There's another vent here to let air out of the engine in the fender. The wheels are 17-inch alloys with these BF Goodrich KO2 all-terrain rubber, and also these beautiful feeling aluminium perforated side steps. So for the Raptor's rear end, we've got LED tail lights. Just give that a polish because we've been using that as intended. Now you'll also see there's a tow mounting point back here and twin exhaust exit, nice fat pipes which help with that lovely sound from the V6. And then if I drop the tailgate, got a nicely sprayed tub in there. It's exactly the same size as you'll get in a normal Ranger, but there's no roller cover or anything like you would get in a Wildtrak. So as we film this, I don't know exactly how much the new Raptor is going to cost, but if there is the price rise that we all expect there will be, I'm sure it'll be justified with some of the technology in the new car. It certainly feels a lot more modern than before, and there's some real good goodies in here. I've got a 12.4-inch digital driver's display in front of me, and this lovely vertical screen in the front, that's 12 inches. So we've not been hard done by there at all. There's also wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto included. It certainly feels quite sporty with its abundance of orange flashes throughout. There's nice orange trim for the steering wheel, the dashboard, the seats, also the Raptor trim as well. Now these seats are apparently inspired by jet fighter pilot seats, and that's probably a good thing if you plan to be jumping your Raptor quite a lot. They feel quite well bolstered and nice and high and supportive for when you do make those killer jumps. So the touch points as well in the new Raptor, there does feel to be some good quality throughout. Feels quite nicely specified. The center console is a big slab of plastic, so it still feels a bit utilitarian in that regard, but everything else throughout feels really nice indeed. And certainly the design feels rugged, but also quite high-tech. The 12-inch center screen as well, I haven't had much of a chance to play with it so far, but it's nice that there's a climate control just through a panel at the bottom, so they're still your physical buttons, which is certainly preferable to fussing around through a screen. But the screen itself seems nicely functionable, quite fast, and certainly will be appreciated by the market who are paying this sort of money for the car. Same with the 12.4-inch digital driver display. Lots of different options so you can scroll through different menus and have all the different driver information that you might possibly want depending on how you're using it. And that can be anything from just your normal conventional speedo and tacho right up to your telemetry for your serious off-road work.
Our Raptor experience was a long way from a traditional road test. All our driving took place in a controlled, closed testing environment run by Ford's engineering team. They were finalising the testing and validation process ahead of the Raptor going on sale. It was a drive experience like no other. This footage is from a section of the off-road test course, but Ford sadly couldn't film, for safety reasons, the Raptor's greatest trick. That's its ability to fly and then land in the manner of a desert rally car. It truly is a race truck with license plates. The V6 petrol and honed chassis make it a full minute faster than the old Raptor around Ford's 10-kilometre off-road test track. Its Fox 2.5-inch live valve internal bypass shock absorbers, race things basically, adjust electronically up to 500 times a second. The car knows when it's flying and the shocks prepare themselves for full compression on landing. Even after serious airtime, incredibly, the Raptor lands with incredible control and cushioning softness. Fear not, your spine is safe. Leaving it to the professionals gives an even greater perspective on the Raptor's talent. A Ford performance test driver showed us exactly what it could do on a fast off-road test course. These are proper drivers, not pretend ones like we journalists. It was all very safe and controlled too, with hands, helmet, harnesses, and the Raptors being fitted with roll cages.
So I'm with Matt, who is in charge of vehicle dynamics at Raptor, and he's just going to take me on a hot lap now to show me exactly what this thing can do. And already it feels like a race truck. I'm not allowed to say. So yeah, set into Baja mode, you can hear the difference a V6 twin turbo makes over the old diesel. Sounds incredible. And the pickup's immediate by the sounds of it. What gets you is the incredible damping through here. It's very fast over some serious bumps. Yeah, we're pinned in these race seats. It's soft as anything. And just to show, going over a jump like that, got four wheels off the ground for a reasonable amount of time, and it just lands as if nothing's happened. It's incredibly smart and incredibly comfortable. You'll also notice Matt can have a normal conversation while basically winning the Dakar Rally through here, which shows they're not normal, rational, or real human beings. But he's certainly busy on the wheel, and the car control is just something else. It really does feel like a race car, which, if you remember, is still a road legal dual cab ute. That'll tow your boat, take your tools in the back. I know you're an incredible driver, but just being able to thread the needle through some incredibly tight, deep sandy corners here and in between the trees, it's phenomenally accurate, and the traction the vehicle has just feels superb. But certainly the noise from the petrol engine, from a purely visceral, emotional point of view, it makes a huge difference over the diesel Raptor, which was already an incredibly capable, brilliant car. But this certainly takes it up a notch to that next emotional level.
A little jump here.
Jump. Good grief. There's nothing quite like flying through the air in a road car.
We gave the Raptor a huge amount of punishment on the hardcore fast off-road course, but its reinforced chassis, new shock tower mounts, unique upper and lower control arms, and a Watts link equipped coil sprung rear all allowed it to behave like a Baja racer. The full-time four-wheel drive system and 33-inch off-road tyres also helped, with amazing control on the loose surfaces. It's like no other hardcore pickup you can buy in Australia right now. It feels you could drive it off the showroom floor and head straight to the Finke Desert race. It's that impressive. The V6 is a barking and angry belter of a motor. In Baja mode, there's an anti-lag system which keeps the turbo spinning for 3 seconds after you lift off. It holds boost so it stays in attack mode, ready to surge forward again. An unofficial 0 to 100 time of 6 seconds on an off-road track is hot hatch quick, and incredible for something weighing almost 2.5 tons. You'll pay for it at the pump, of course. All this fun doesn't come for free. According to the Australian government's Green Vehicle Guide, the Raptor returns 11.5 litres per 100 kilometres. but probably a more accurate figure is Ford UK's WLTP figure of 13.8 litres per 100. It also likes 98 RON.
We're just going to head up this particularly sandy bit. It's a bit of deep sand. It's all about momentum and power, of which the new Raptor certainly seems to have plenty, and makes a beautiful noise too. And it sounds like a much more of a performance truck than old, that's for sure. Gone's the diesel noise and a much more throaty, lively petrol engine. It really works so well with this Raptor. Suits the personality, and with all the technology and certainly these fighter pilot inspired seats as well, it feels much more purposeful as an off-road performance vehicle. Certainly pinned in, very well set up, and it actually feels like a much more emotional experience having the petrol engine revving away. And as soon as you get those higher revs, the sound is superb. And I'm not even in the hardcore Baja mode yet, which gives us a straight through exhaust, and that'll take things to an even more exceptional level. Put a bit more power down and it suddenly sounds a bit more like a race car, and so much fun. And it just slides around perfectly. So unlike the old Raptor, which only had 6 drive modes, the new Raptor has 7, including the most hardcore Baja mode, which everything is optimized for serious performance, including a near straight through exhaust. So I'm just going to pin it now and have a listen. It's a completely different sound to before, and it really does add a lot more visceral excitement to the whole drive experience. It just holds gears quite a bit longer from the 10-speed gearbox, and steering you can feel is a lot sharper. So obviously the new twin-turbo V6 petrol engine has almost twice the power of the old diesel unit, with 292 kilowatts, whereas the old one had 157. So as a result of that, the chassis had to be really strengthened and improved for the potentially bigger hits and the harder life that this car could possibly have off-road. So as before, and unlike a conventional Ranger which has a leaf spring rear setup, we've got coil springs and Watts link at the back, which means it loses a lot of its practicality as a work truck. You've only got 741 kilogram payload, for example. The Raptor will only tow 2.5 tons as opposed to a normal Ranger's 3.5. But you'll still be able to get your jet skis or your motocross bikes on the back, no worries. So when it wants to be, the Raptor can be dialed down and is actually quite a docile little thing with that motor just purring away in the background. But if you want to just take things easy and be nice to your passengers, it can do that, as well as the jump stuff. So as part of the suspension setup, there are 2.5-inch Fox live valve dampers. These are incredibly intelligent things that work with the electronic brain of the car. So it picks up everything from your throttle to your engine to your steering, and it optimizes exactly what sort of damping level it needs. And that includes if you're taking 4 wheels off the ground and doing a particularly large jump, it knows you're going to do that, gets things ready for it, and makes things easy enough so your spine doesn't come out of your back on landing. So what Ford Performance has done has made sure this next generation Raptor isn't merely an evolution of the old one, but a completely new product, and it certainly dials everything up. So it makes it a real standalone vehicle in the serious off-road dual cab ute market. Really, could it be our first real performance off-road vehicle? Much like with Ferrari, when they develop an incredible sports car for the track, knowing full well that 99% of owners will never use it in that way. Potentially the Raptor, and its owners may never use it in the way that it was actually intended and built for. But all credit to Ford Performance, they've made sure that those that do want to do it, it's going to be perfectly capable and so much fun if you're brave enough to come to these sort of places. Now we're just walking the Raptor through the moguls now. As expected, it's mopping everything up perfectly nicely. Just a little bit of soft sand hitting the underside. And as we find with every Ranger, incredibly capable. And very handy on the Raptor is the forward facing camera. So even if I can't see through the windscreen exactly where we're going, the camera in front can show me exactly where we're up to. So it's a safety feature, and will certainly mean you're less likely to damage your car. We're on a serious incline coming up now. Just effortlessly walks up and you can see sky, and then you're over. So what's great about the Raptor is, even though it's incredibly customizable, I'm just in our rock crawl mode at the moment, and you can very much let the car do all the work for you. You can go into the screens, you can lock the front diff if you need to. It's already changed all my ABS and some of the traction control settings to make sure it carries through things in the most effective manner. It's idiot proof in a way, and a lot of people are really going to enjoy that for their off-roading. Alright, now this is a very cool feature of the car. I can use trail control just through my central screen here. Just press a button and then you can adjust your preferred speed for it. I've chosen 4 kilometers an hour, and then I can just take my foot off the brake, follow my route, and it will do the whole thing at 4 kilometers an hour. I don't need to touch the brake, I don't need to touch the accelerator. So you can actually sit down, sit back, just use the steering wheel to see which way you're going, using the camera as well. When my eyesight's blocked, I don't even have to lift up or anything like that. And it's all very safe, very controlled, and very simple. So if you want a relaxing off-road experience where you just enjoy the ride, this is the way to go. I've also got a 360-degree camera just below my front-facing camera, and I can just use that to have a look exactly where my sides are. So if there's a big rock or a big tree stump to the sides that I can't quite keep my eye on, I can use the camera just to check I'm not going to clean it up and damage this lovely Raptor body. So no matter what the grade is, on these little ups and downs, the car's doing real nice little small throttle inputs, little brake inputs, keeping everything controlled and smooth. So over some real challenging stuff, it feels like a very safe way to do things. And the car's brain is working things out perfectly. So whereas it might be more fun to do giant jumps over these things, like the Raptor can be designed for, if you've got your family in the back and want to show them a leisurely off-road experience, this is the way to do it. So the new Raptor also has a completely revised 10-speed auto gearbox, and unlike the old Raptor, it also has permanent 4-wheel drive as well. So even though the Baja exhaust mode is clearly the most fun, if you care about your neighbours, there's just a little button on your steering wheel and you can change the active exhaust down to quiet. So even when I floor it, just like your normal Ford Fiesta starting up, not a peep to be heard almost. But then when you're past your neighbour's house, back into Baja mode and let the fun begin. This vehicle is not an evolution of the old Raptor, it really is a completely new car that just takes the thrill level up an extra level. This is still just a pre-production model of what we will see in showrooms come July, and we can't wait to test it even more off-road and on-road as well, importantly, to see what it'll do there. So make sure you hit subscribe at the bottom of the video to keep up with all the Ranger Raptor information we can bring you. And as ever, thank you for watching Chasing Cars.